Facebook friends, I think I probably have like 575 or something.
About 209 friends at the moment.
Ooh, like 300? Around 300?
500 and change, 560 maybe.
And just about 500 right now.
I would say for the 48 hours I was on Facebook, about 3 and growing.
I think I have a couple.
I think I have about 800.
I don't use Facebook.
All of us individuals have multiple selves, right? We have, you know, in my own case, I'm a father, so I behave a certain way. I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a friend, I'm a colleague, I'm you know, a guy who does this for a role, so they know me through my professional reputation. But I'm also a guy that somebody went to high school with, and I'm also a guy who, you know, maybe I worked with you 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or maybe we were friends once. What's really weird through something like Facebook is that you have to play those multiple personalities all at once. And so when you're posting content to Facebook, you're actually thinking, wow, someone I went to high school is seeing this that I haven't actually spoken to in 15 years. And my wife is seeing this, who I'll see in 10 minutes.
I found actually, yeah, the person that I created, at least, I don't know if it's true for everybody, but on Facebook was, I don't want to sound like I was lying on it because I wasn't, but it's not who I really am as a person. It's a simplified version. And yeah, I guess I just didn't really like that.
And I usually like real life, if not talking on the phone. So if something is bouncing around from Facebook to texting, and then I get an email about it, I just lose track, and I don't know what the other person is thinking and why we keep moving around on all these different platforms and stuff. Hello?
It's sometimes you can actually have tension without even having people say things on Facebook or whatever. And if someone texts you and you don't reply, like, you can almost feel like this sort of negative energy, and it's in the air, but it's not said. Sometimes we don't need to say things. We know.
Especially if you're texting someone, I think they expect that you're texting back in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And if not, sometimes they're getting mad at you and sending you a text message back, why are you not answering? Or thanks for answering.
I think the people I like to be in touch with online are the people who don't exert pressure. One discerns pretty quickly who has expectations of what your particular etiquette or protocol with email should be, and if it doesn't suit yours, then I try to get rid of those communications, because I can't stand it when it's sort of like, I emailed you 6 hours ago, how come you haven't responded?
Yeah, like I'm not even sure what to say, because this is kind of like a layer of guilt because I haven't actually contacted them in a while. And then when I do, I feel like, well, it's been a year, so I probably should say something important or profound or lovely or something. And then sometimes I'll click to send them a message, and I'll start writing a message, and then I'll edit it, and then I'll get distracted by something, and then I'll go away and come back and forget all about the message and not actually send it. So I've also crafted a lot of messages that I never sent.
I think it becomes difficult at times, especially with friends that are out of the city or country, because that's sort of like the only real means of communication apart from phoning them that you have. So it's hard sometimes to try and, you know, negotiate like dedicating time to them online, and at the same time not coming off as if, you know, it's just a chore. You have to sort of just check up on them because it's like a social duty, and more you know, you want to show people that you really care about them. But if you can't see them or look at them or talk to them in person, then that can come across in a different light.
The more you get away from face-to-face, it takes those short feedback loops, which are almost instantaneous. As soon as you say something, even before you're measuring my reaction to it. And but the further you get away from face-to-face, the longer the feedback loops stretch out. So you send something out, it takes a long time for that feedback loop to close. It takes a long time in text, less with voice.
One can't help but worry that that the capacity to understand really subtle human signals, body language, eye contact, slight expression, could get lost over time, and that therefore one would become less skilled at interaction.
We've lost kind of a special aspect of human
connections. Like it really, to really get in touch with a person, you have to see their face, you have to touch them.
We interact to each other's subtext more than we think we do. So I think that's a concern if we lose that as a skill. It's an animal skill.
We're physical creatures, you know, you need to be able to grasp the person, to really feel, to feel something towards them.
It was kind of freaky the first time I discovered my mother on Facebook. It was even more freaky when I discovered my mother-in-law. But those days are sort of over now. That freakiness is over and the uncomfortableness of it is gone. It's really truly a communication medium.
I couldn't believe it, people who were like outer echelons of acquaintances that suddenly I felt I had some responsibility towards, to stay in contact with. And I sort of thought, well, why would I guess the marker for me was, do I want to have them over for dinner? Would I like to sit down and eat a meal with them? And if so, then yeah, that would be great. But it's all this chat with virtual strangers that it's just incredibly time wasting. I mean, I know I sound judgmental and I know people love it but I just feel always as though I could be doing more expansive things with my life, more gratifying things than chat.
Every year or so, I'll go through my friends and sort of pull out the weeds of the Facebook garden, as they don't say.
I find it hard actually to go through my Facebook friends because then I feel guilty that I haven't been in touch with some of them. Like, oh my gosh, when was the last time I talked to them?
But I kind of went through and weeded out people that I'd met once years ago that I knew I would never really see again. I don't know, I could bump into them again in the future and have a really awkward thing happen.
Some people on Facebook, most of these are people I just knew from a party and we never talked after it. So after a few months I said, okay, we are not friends anymore. We never really been friends. So I delete them.
Well, one time I got myself in this mind frame when I was like, geez, I've just got too many people. Who is this weird person? Who is Angela H? Really? You know?
I know, and it was so easy to start, but it's hard to quit.
Yeah.
I think looking at it like this has definitely made me reevaluate a lot of friendships that I have with people, because it made me think which are the ones that I actually talk to aside from Facebook. It's not just alone a question between two people. It's a question between two people and everyone else looking at it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I use personal messages with friends a lot because I don't want to see that other people's what our conversations are about, because I don't want to let them know what we're gonna plan this weekend or whatever, or what happened or something personal. So I use these personal messages a lot.
As we've dug into a lot of different sort of issues and social implications that it has, I've noticed those social implications so much more than I did before, which is weird because I thought I was very already critical.
Yeah, it's you can't keep in touch with 605 people. But I do there's a lot of people that I know that I might see once a year. But that's great. It's still fine. You don't have to see them every day to still...
But are there people that, for instance, you might have known, even in your childhood, that you don't delete just because you did know them at one point and you know they're a nice person?
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. How many friends do you feel like you need?
At any given time, you mean?
How many friends do you need in your life? What's the ideal number of good friends?
And people that you see,
I've heard
right?
It's 8. I've heard it's 8. You can, or maybe it's not that you need, but I think I heard from someone that you can only handle 8 relationships in your life with friends. People.
Wow, interesting.
But I think having 8 or 8 to maybe 12 close friends.
Yeah, I would say
that's a maximum 12. Because otherwise you can't meet all these friends the whole time.
Yeah.
Because if they're your best friend and you weren't seeing them that much, you wouldn't still call them your best one of your best friends.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but maybe they kind of rotate in and out too in time.
we're connecting and communicating in a way that this entire species has never seen before.
So maybe that is the positive side of it. We're ridiculously interested in each other in every minute detail of of each other's lives. I mean, maybe there is an upside to that. Maybe there is some collective shared experience that is making us more connected in some ways that has yet to be, I guess, properly researched.
When that happens, I can't see how that can be a bad thing, because communications breaks down barriers, and those barriers are the things that divide us.
I feel like what defines our generation is this extreme use of technology, and I feel a bit stuck in the past. You feel a little bit left out in a way.
I remember last year, I think it was, they had a competition to redefine the 7 wonders of the world, and I was baffled that the internet wasn't one of them. You know, because they're all thinking about tourist destinations, and I'm thinking, no, you know what? It's like, look at this thing, look at this internet, and look how it's connecting cultures and societies, and creating political movements, and launching news stories, and making corporations relevant to ordinary people, and ordinary people probably even more insightfully relevant to corporations. There's so much that's happening there that it just blows my mind. I get a little giddy because I feel like Carl Sagan talking about, you know, just the total power of it all. But it truly is a wonder of the world, and I think our generation will be defined by it.
It's going to be so interesting watching over the next. It's just going to be fascinating for your generation, seeing what transpires over time.